Everyone lost their minds when the Mavericks actually traded Luka Doncic, because shipping away a generational superstar like that at his prime is the dumbest front office decision in NBA history.
For the Mavs, trading Luka ends up going down as one of the worst moves in the history of the NBA.
Then Kyrie Irving tore his ACL, and the rest of the league stopped laughing and started feeling genuinely bad, while 19-year-old Cooper Flagg was left stranded on a 26-win disaster team with zero spacing and zero help. But on draft night, while every single analyst was staring blindly at the top lottery picks, Dallas pulled off an under-the-radar trade for a 20-year-old guard that mainstream media completely slept on. And what this prospect just did in Summer League makes you realize why the front office burned their entire roster to the ground. But we'll get to what the rookie did in a bit. Before we get into what Dallas actually pulled off, you have to look at the torture Cooper Flagg had to survive last season. This was not some normal, peaceful rebuilding year where a rookie takes friendly losses and develops at a comfortable pace.
Poster. Woo-hoo! Elevating and detonating Cooper Flagg with a thrust to the basket for his first second-half points.
Nope. This was a 19-year-old kid getting swarmed by immediate predetermined double teams the second he crossed half-court, because opposing defenses knew damn well nobody else on that floor could help him. Dallas literally sat back, watched a teenager take a physical beating every night, and had the nerve to call it standard development. There was no real point guard to run an organized set, nobody to bail him out when the shot clock hit 5, and zero perimeter threats to keep the paint clear. Flagg had to absorb brutal, bone-crushing contact every single night, act as the primary playmaker, and try to rescue dead possessions while carrying a pathetic roster completely on his own back.
That's all sorted out. Trap in the backcourt. Up ahead to Coop. And Coop!
By mid-winter, you could literally see the exhaustion in the way he walked, because he was playing heavy minutes just to keep him competitive against lottery teams that honestly did not even care about winning. That kind of relentless physical exhaustion destroys young franchise cornerstones before they even smell their prime. And for some reason, we're all acting like that was not the worst front office decision the league has seen in years. But here's where things took a sharp turn. The front office quickly realized they were 1 year away from completely ruining Flagg, which meant they had to completely rip the band-aid off and find someone with elite court vision, unshakable poise, and a high-level basketball IQ to step straight into the fire and take the heavy creation burden off Flagg's shoulders. And instead of focusing blindly on the usual college prospects like every other team, they looked across the ocean at a pro in Spain, who was about to completely hijack draft night and change everything we thought we knew about this team. See, while Twitter was losing its mind over the usual lottery picks, draft night turned out to be a mess behind closed doors. So, walk with me on this, right? On draft night, Sergio De Larrea was in Spain literally celebrating a Spanish League championship win with his team, Valencia, while front offices were working the phones behind the scenes. First, the Lakers drafted him at pick 25, but they panicked and traded him to the New York Knicks, who immediately flipped him into a 3-team fire sale straight to the Dallas Mavericks. According to NBA insiders and reporters, the kid got about 2.5 hours of actual sleep after winning a pro title in Europe, woke up and found out he was suddenly a Maverick. That's the kind of pressure and chaos that could discourage a rookie, and any normal 20-year-old would have stayed in Spain, soaked up the offseason, and let the front office forget about him for a while. But De Larrea straight up refused to do that, and that's the part that should terrify other teams in the league right now. Instead of hiding out in his comfort zone, he packed his bags the next morning and flew straight to America to hit Summer League running. That single move tells you everything you need to know about his mindset, because he was not about to wait around to coast on a draft label or wait out his contract abroad. And immediately, he got on the court in the Summer League, and every other team in the league found out that they were in a whole lot of trouble. But before we look at what he actually did on the court, you need to understand who this kid actually is and why Dallas made this happen. Because when the news came out that he finally landed with the Mavs, everyone on Twitter was losing their minds. Like we were talking about some raw college prospect who needs 3 years of development just to figure out the speed of an NBA game. Nah, that's why this rookie's way different from the others in his draft class. See, De Larrea spent the last few years playing heavy minutes against grown professional men in the Spanish ACB and the EuroLeague. He literally just won a Liga ACB championship with Valencia right before his name was called on draft night. That's actual battle-tested experience against elite competition, not some soft college numbers. And anyone calling him a raw prospect is just exposing that they never watched a single minute of European basketball.
Tough shot. Oh, somewhat fortuitously comes from Rivas, and De Larrea.
Think back to the nightmare Cooper Flagg was forced to endure all alone last season. He needed a true point guard to run an organized set, someone with elite court vision to pick apart a zone, and a secondary playmaker who could take the massive creation weight off his shoulders when the defense loaded up against him. Well, you won't believe what came out next when scouts actually looked at his tape. Sergio De Larrea checks every single item on that checklist. He's a 6'5" playmaker who's literally spent his teenage years running pick and rolls against grown men who get paid to destroy rookie guards. When the defense collapses into the paint on Flagg, De Larrea will not panic and launch a trash shot. He'll just read the rotation, put the ball right on the numbers, and let his scorer finish without breaking rhythm. He does not need 20 shots a night to control the game, because his entire superpower is making everyone else on the floor look like they know what they're doing.
He can shoot, he can create his own shot, he can catch and shoot, he can create in the lane.
But here's the shocking part nobody expected. It was not just about him and Cooper's chemistry. That's why every single move Dallas made this offseason, when you see how everything connects back to Cooper Flagg and De Larrea. Because when you actually step back and look at every move this front office made after draft night, you realize they were not just throwing random darts at a board and hoping something stuck. Every transaction was a calculated puzzle piece designed to solve Cooper Flagg's isolation problem and unlock Sergio De Larrea from day one. Just look at what they did with Kyrie Irving. The man's 100% healthy and back on the floor to act as a veteran mentor and pressure guy who absorbs all the defensive attention right alongside Flagg. That immediately gives De Larrea an elite safety net instead of throwing a rookie straight into the Wolves' den without anything. Then they went out and drafted Maurice Johnson Jr., who's an absolute beast of an interior defender and rim protector straight from Dusty May's national championship squad at Michigan. MJ takes all the heavy, bone-crunching physical dirty work off the paint, so De Larrea does not have to waste energy cleaning up defensive issues and can focus entirely on running structured sets. And speaking of Dusty May, the Mavs hiring him as head coach completely alters the tactical ceiling of this entire franchise. May's a master tactician who builds intricate, high-intelligence offensive systems around basketball IQ rather than relying on pure athletic isolation, which is an absolute dream come true for a playmaker like De Larrea who thinks 3 steps ahead of the defense. Every single one of these off-season moves crosses off another critical item on Cooper Flagg's checklist. And when you put all of this together, even a blind person can see that the starting 5 Dallas is building around Cooper Flagg is genuinely terrifying. And here's where things get even crazier. All these moves only work because of one specific thing De Larrea does that nobody else in this draft class can do. See, immediately he got into the US, Summer League started, and you could just tell he was on a different level. Game 1 hit and he was dropping no-look dimes in transition like it was nothing. By Game 3, analysts were literally calling him the best pure passer in the entire Summer League. And I'm sitting there watching videos on my phone thinking, okay, this is actually legit.
Mavs fans, you're getting the best passer in the draft. Look at the timing on these lobs. He's throwing them in the absolute perfect spot for his dunker. I don't care how good of a passer you are, these passes are so hard to time. He literally literally threw this pass without looking. Nobody in the draft can pass like Sergio.
And then he drops a franchise record 12 assists in a single game, just to completely seal it and make everyone look stupid. But before you get all in your head thinking nothing can stop the Mavs now, I think you should take a break and chill. Because immediately, when you look at the actual shooting splits, the vibe changes instantly. The kid's averaging 27% from the field and 20% from deep. Like, how do you drop 12 assists looking like prime Steve Nash and then completely brick every single open jumper you take? Which brings us straight to the ugly, uncomfortable truth that nobody in Dallas wants to say out loud. Those shooting numbers are an absolute disaster.
Only thing that I saw, like from watching some of his film, the game around the rim needs some work. It's not super refined the way it needs to be in the end.
In his defense, transitioning from a slow, methodical style straight from the Spanish leagues into a hyper-athletic NBA floor is a violent physical adjustment for a 20-year-old kid. On top of that, you already know how the media operates. Every single time a Spanish guard enters the league, analysts immediately try to slap the Luka Doncic label on him. But having that ridiculous comparison hanging over your head is one thing, trying to live up to it while playing for the same franchise that traded Luka away is a whole different level of psychological torture. There's absolutely no guarantee this gamble actually pans out, and if his jumper does not completely transform overnight, opposing defenses are gonna sag off him, clog the paint, and turn Cooper Flagg's sophomore year into a complete nightmare all over again. At the end of the day, you can look at the spreadsheets, the Summer League numbers, and the Luka comparisons all you want, but none of it matters once the ball actually tips on opening night. Front offices spend decades drafting safe, boring pieces because they're terrified of looking stupid on television. And look at where it gets them. Stuck on the same treadmill of mediocrity for 10 straight years. The Mavericks did not do that. They took a flamethrower to the standard playbook, handed the keys to a Spanish wizard who can't buy an outside jumper yet, and hitched the entire franchise to a generational rookie. Whether this experiment becomes a multi-year dynasty or a huge train wreck that we're all gonna be laughing about on Twitter by December, one thing is completely certain. You're not gonna look away for a single second. So now, you tell me, is this front office pulling off the rebuild of the decade, or are we all gonna look like absolute idiots trusting a rookie point guard with a broken jumper? Like the video and hit that subscribe button right now, because when this roster either takes over the West or implodes spectacularly, you're gonna want front row seats to the fallout.